Hi, everybody. This is Charles Hoskinson broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. I wanted to make a video about division of time. I've been recently making a lot of commentary on the ETC ecosystem. I've also reached out to other ecosystems like the Bitcoin Cash ecosystem, the Litecoin ecosystem, for a variety of reasons. And I noticed that there are some people in the comments and in Telegram and Twitter and other places say, oh no, focus 100% of your effort on Cardano. Why are you talking to ETC? Why are you doing this and doing that? So first off, I run a big company. We have over 250 people. About half of those people wake up every day and they're involved in Cardano. The other half are not. So as the CEO of a company where you have that kind of division, there's non-Cardano things I do. Now, Cardano is our largest project. We're heavily involved in it. And obviously, we wake up every day and we want Cardano to be successful and have billions of users. And this is why we are following the process we're following. We're building the technology we're building. It's why we work very hard trying to commercialize it. Every deal we do in Africa, every deal we do in Eastern Europe, every deal we do in Asia, we have a Cardano first policy of deploying those deals on that platform. And we built that platform to service those deals. And as that platform evolves, you'll see more use and utility from our sales channels in that respect. That said, one of the pillars of a third generation cryptocurrency is interoperability. It's kind of a silly thing to be a maximalist, but then also talk about interoperability. What the hell is the point then? Either you want one chain to rule them all, and therefore you don't care at all about talking to other systems, or you put your money where your mouth is, and you work on those other systems. You build expertise in those systems. You affect changes in those systems so that those systems can partner with our systems and work with our systems. You know, the CEO of Samsung, he has a division that every day gets up and works with Apple. And they work on the motherboards of the iPhone and build memory for them, do all kinds of cool things. And Samsung's that division knows what the iPhone is going to look like before any of us knows that. At the same time, there's another division at Samsung that wakes up every day and it works on phones like this, the Galaxy, to compete with the iPhone. Great companies have the capacity to do these things, and we are a great company in that respect. We have different and dedicated teams for different products and projects. Now, we will never work on overlapping systems. It's not the case that we're going to have developers go and work on Cardano and something that's a direct competitor of Cardano, because it makes no competitive sense for that to happen. And I do not view ETC as a competitor of Cardano. It's a proof of work system, not a proof of stake system. It's a code as law system, not a world financial operating system play. It's a system that will always have a smaller group of people in it and always have a smaller set of things to do. So time spent there with a completely separate team has no bearing or impact on our ability to deliver things with Cardano. And the other thing, as the CEO of this company, I can't accelerate things above and beyond what the teams can do. For example, today I'm waiting for Daedalus Flight to come out. There is nothing I can do. I can't pick up the phone and call the engineers and say, can you ship it 15 minutes faster? The plan is there. It's been set. The release manager's there, the QA team's there. Everybody knows what to do. There's consensus amongst that team. They're going off to the mountaintop, get it done. And when it's done, they'll let me know. And then I'll tweet, new Daedalus is out. Guys, go play with it. And it gives me some work to do, of course. But until they finish their job, there's nothing to do in that respect. The Cardano plans we have are well set. We know exactly what we need to do. Those teams are working hard. And I do everything in my power to accelerate things where and when it's safe to do so, and everything in my power to get things done. Shelly, for example, we worked so hard to get that out July 29th. We had almost unlimited overtime. Everyone worked the weekend. Some people worked over 40 days straight to get that release done. Meanwhile, half of the company was doing other things and other capacities and working on those projects. None of their work or the other cryptocurrencies we tend to work with had any bearing or impact on our ability to accelerate or decelerate the Shelly workstream. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. And for people who have developed a maximalist mindset, to get out of that maximalist mindset. There's a place for maximalism. It's called Bitcoin maximalism. If you live there, go there. okay, and go believe in that project in that chain. But this is the Cardano ecosystem. It's going to literally work with hundreds, if not thousands, of different standards over its life, from central banks to other cryptocurrencies to legacy financial operators, from the Chases of the world to the Goldman Sachs of the world. Provisions will be made to build special hooks for these systems, including interoperability with permission systems. It's very likely in the next 24 months, Cardano will be talking to an instance of Fabric, Hyperledger Fabric from IBM. Very likely that that's going to happen. It's very likely we'll consult on a project that does that. In no way does this diminish the roadmap or somehow make Cardano less competitive. It's actually quite the opposite. The fact that we can work with those systems, the fact that we can do things with those systems means that the platform as a whole is intrinsically more valuable. It's easier to sell to Fortune 500 companies. It's easier to get use, utility, and adoption because people understand that they're not being led down the road of vendor lock-in and regressing back to the old days of Internet Explorer, or what Consensus is trying to do with Ethereum, trying to lock everybody into one standard, one system. Rather, the value proposition we offer is true interoperability, the ability to move in and out. Furthermore, when you create partnerships with other ecosystems, then their success is our success. For example, if the Treasury system proposal succeeds in ETC, they will be in the market for a permanent Treasury system in 2021. We, as a community, can make the case that what we've constructed with Voltaire is a great choice for them. And of course, we'll try to make that case. And if it's successful, we provide mutual value and benefit, more volume and transactions and activity on the Cardano network. And for ETC, they have a best-in-class treasury system that meets the values of that community. The exact same argument can be made for Litecoin or for Bitcoin Cash or for other systems. And if you want to see the wrapped Litecoin video that I did earlier in the year, it gives a great roadmap for a potential push there. Furthermore, what if we turn Daedalus into a multi-currency wallet? That's already going to happen because we have a multi-asset standard. And so when people issue tokens on Cardano, Daedalus will support those tokens. Sometime in the future, it would be very easy for us to pull Ethereum Classic and Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash and other ecosystems into the Daedalus wallet. What does that mean? It means that people who live in that ecosystem will be using our technology as their day-to-day experience in hosting for their token. And what does that mean? If we have a DEX built into that thing, it potentially could create more adoption and use and utility for ADA. And this is the point. We accomplish so much more working together than beating each other down. I am damn tired of the cryptocurrency markets as they are. The fanboys, the trolls, the FUD, the maximalism, the relentless allegations that people you disagree with or hold different tokens are scammers or criminals or bad human beings. It's time we as an industry set this aside and grow up. Just grow up. Or else, what's the point? Why would anybody looking from the outside at all of this chaos and noise and insanity and maximalism want to come play in this pool? It's like you're about to enter a bar and you see a bar fight. Do you keep going in? Or you turn around and walk away and say, I don't want that trouble. I'm going to go down the street somewhere else that's safer. And so how will we ever get mainstream adoption? How will we ever make the argument to governments that they should trust their elections, their property, perhaps even the money of their people on our systems, if we're incapable of entertaining other ideas, other philosophies, and other ecosystems? We don't deserve the right for that responsibility if we're not mature enough to have differences of opinion and be able to welcome other ecosystems into our own. So this video is a call against maximalism first and foremost, and second, it's a realization that the duties of an executive officer are extensive and plenary, meaning that there are days I wake up and there are Ethereum days. And by the way, working in that ecosystem gives me and my company exhaustive knowledge on how Ethereum works, which allows me then to build a better product than they have and understand where all the bodies are buried, all the flaws in the protocols, the security issues, the performance issues, the wonkiness about the smart contract development experience. That intimacy is extremely important to be able to predict, react, and also plan a competitive strategy that can take you in a different and better direction. You just don't live in a monoculture. It's a bad deal. So that's the second point. You have many projects when you have a larger company. Some of those projects are completely separate from each other. Some of those projects may have a bit of overlap. We have a philosophy that we don't work on competing products. For example, we have done work with Horizon. And as a consequence of doing work with them, we're probably not going to work on Zcash at the same time, as long as we have that relationship there. We, for example, work on Cardano. So we're not going to go work on another proof of stake system that wants to be a financial operating system. That would be a direct competitor. For example, Tezos would be happy to jointly author papers and coordinate, collaborate, but there needs to be a Cardano benefit in that relationship. Whereas Ethereum Classic, as I've mentioned, is a totally different system, and it's something that we have as a company historically worked on for years. We started our participation in 2016. We built a full client. Nowhere in that process did that have any impact on our ability to deliver Cardano. We had a completely separate engineering team. That team was actually sourced from external companies, Scala-C and ATIX to begin with, and then we built on top of it. And it had different product and project management, and it was completely written with a different group. So it might as well have been a different company for that matter. And I just talked to the team, but the Cardano team was doing its own thing. So I think we need to just cut it out. Cut out the maximalism, cut out this idea that there is only one truth. We live in a nuanced world, and we live in a world of interoperability. We have to embrace that if we wish to be successful, and let's be the adults in the room. Let's be the place where there isn't the bar fight, and let's be the place that welcomes everybody. Furthermore, I've noticed some criticism from my own community when people criticize us, and they go to the politics of destruction or personal attacks, or yield on criticizing people's intelligence or whatever have you. Cut that out too. Let's be a better community. I repeatedly call upon the Tezos Foundation to tell its community to stop criticizing Cardano and calling it a scam project. So I'll call upon my own community. I have seen things that shouldn't have happened. Certain members of the Cardano community replying to people over Twitter, replying to people who criticize us, have resorted to personal attacks and so forth. Again, just ignore them. Mute. Let's embrace unity. Let's embrace being better. Yes, occasionally you got to kick people in the teeth, especially when people are lying. And what you do is you call them out on the lies that they've made. You specifically point out where they have done things that are a bit crazy or disingenuous and dishonest. For example, we had a meeting today with Ethereum Classic, and it was blatantly apparent to me that this process has been set up to fail and be exclusive and prevent alternative ideas from a certain power structure from being held. So I made a 30-minute whiteboard video where I not only called it out, but I proposed an alternative and said, this is how we're going to transcend that process and get to a much more productive way of doing things. Some of the criticism we have, that criticism is justified because of product delays or because people don't fully understand who we are and what we're trying to do. And obviously there's history there. So first and foremost, let's reply with facts. First and foremost, let's reply with dignity and respect and empathy for the other person's position. And you know what? If they continue to push forward, then you kick them in the teeth and you say, it's obvious you don't want to have a conversation. You're a troll. But to my community, please do this, and please have this level of respect and dignity with others and with each other. For example, we right now have a lot of debates with small stake pools versus large stake pools, SPOCRA or no SPOCRA. There's plenty of people floating around with differences of opinion. And our mantra should always be disagree without being disagreeable. People are going to have other values. People are going to have differences of opinion, and people are going to have different perspectives. You can't change that reality, nor should you. We all have the right to think and have differences of opinion. But we also should expect a dialogue that's fair and has empathy in it. And so I call upon everybody to preserve that decorum as we move forward. And also understand that some days we wake up, we have to do things that aren't Cardano related. in order for us all to be successful, because not all the world will ever be Cardano related. We always need partners, whether it be great pieces of hardware like Ledger and Trezor, or exchanges to work with, different wallets to work with. And sometimes those partners do stuff with us, and sometimes those partners do things with other people. We have friends. We have projects we admire and respect. For example, I've expressed repeatedly great admiration for the Algorand project. I think they're doing a phenomenal job, and they have great leadership with Silvio Micali. I think the research and the engineering there is top-notch. Now, I personally believe Cardano is better. That's because we built it, and that's because we think we have a better strategy to market. And ultimately, the market's going to decide which standards to go with, and whether there's going to be many standards or a consolidation. That's not my decision. I just have to wake up every day and fight for the things I believe in. That said, never once have we ever criticized Algorand, because they are, in essence, the model of empathy and dignity and good communication, and being very proactive at focusing on solutions. When they make announcements about new things that they're doing and new partners that they have. And never once have they ever criticized another project or engaged in fanboyism. That's a great community, and that's a great project, and it's a model for where the space should go. And I admire that deeply and greatly, especially when you contrast it with other projects that have been less empathetic in their history. We all have our problems. We all have our issues. And I know that we all can be better. And so that's my final point. Let's do that. Let's be better as an industry. Let's be a bit friendlier, and let's invest the time and effort necessary to really understand and listen to each other. Because ultimately, I think that's going to get us where we need to go, and be able to get us to a point where we have that adoption of millions and billions of people and fundamentally change the fabric of society. Otherwise, we will be victims of our own success and descend into tribalism and descend into sectarian violence, and then ultimately destroy the entire industry, because it will become co-opted by large companies who use a surface level marketing to take the brand, take the notion of a blockchain, but then install centralized authorities behind them, and in which case we've lost. So I don't want that to happen. I want the movement to succeed. I want us to understand each other. And I enjoy having great competitors, sometimes working with them, sometimes fighting them in the battle of the markets and the markets of ideas. And ultimately, I think we as a community have a chance to also be a model for everyone else. So let's do that. Thank you.